The long-awaited enhanced security measures legislation is expected to be brought to Parliament in the next fiscal year, 2023-24. The announcement comes amid calls for the government to use other means of tackling crime and violence instead of relying on state of emergency SOEs. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement today while addressing supporters at the Jamaica Labour Party annual conference at the National Arena in Kingston. Mr. Holness described the enhanced security measures as a state of emergency on criminals.
The Enhanced Security Measures Bill that we are advanced in developing. This bill will be a state of emergency on criminals. It will have the development of a watch list for criminals. It will have special orders for detention for criminals. And it will have the imposition of control orders on the activities of criminals. These will give the police standing powers to treat with some of our more dangerous and insidious criminals to ensure that we can bring order and peace to our society. We intend to have this bill before Parliament in the next fiscal year.
Citing the high murder rate, Mr. Holness pointed to the benefits of the states of public emergency effected in several police divisions and urged the opposition to support an extension of the SOEs. The enhanced security measures are among a raft of initiatives that the JLP-led government intends to implement in the coming months in response to the country's crime problem. Another initiative will target foreign-based dons who still influence crime committed in the island.
We will also be opening discussions with our U.S. friends to have special operations to target Jamaican dons overseas who are using their resources and influence to solicit and direct murders here in Jamaica. For too long, foreign dons have been able to get away with this. We are going to ensure that they can no longer stay in another country and direct crime here. Personally, I think it is a shame that someone who got the opportunity to migrate would use that opportunity to seek to make their community a living hell for the people they have left behind. Instead of sending back computers and assisting with school fees, they are sending guns and bullets to encourage you to kill your brothers and sisters. They mean us no good. They must be arrested and locked away for good.
Mr. Holness added that the influence of local criminals will also be dealt with through the construction of a new high-security prison.
In our local prisons, criminals are conducting extortion operations and directing murders right out of our prisons. We have designed a new high-security prison. It has been on the books for some time, but we just didn't finalize the plans and the cost. I have given instructions that the high security facility with a communications dead spot be built as a project of strategic national interest. This means that we will have a prison with a communication dead spot that we can put our high-risk criminals. We can put them in facilities where they cannot influence crime and murders outside of the facility.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. And thousands of supporters of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party converged at the National Stadium in Kingston today for the party's 79th anniversary annual conference. Supporters, dressed in various shades of green, sang and danced to party music as they rejoiced at being gathered together after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Shanice Gibbs was at the conference and filed this report.
People traveled from all across the country with hopes of seeing party officials and hearing their leader Andrew Holness address the crowd, especially on issues relating to crime. One supporter from central Manchester expressed joy at being at the conference as COVID-19 had prevented the party members and supporters from meeting for 2 years. He said Mr. Holness's entrance at the conference was symbolic and his high energy indicated his eagerness to lead the country into prosperity. He also expressed appreciation to Mr. Holness's commitment to giving women greater roles and responsibilities.
and we would like the entry of the Prime Minister. And it's brilliant, man. The future look bright for the youth of Jamaica based on what the Prime Minister said. We still have to give thanks to the lot of women in our party, especially the young ladies in our party. And we have to give thanks to Rhoda Crawford at the same time to come from Central Manchester. And in my opinion, is Rhoda Crawford who mash up the PNP party, because she get rid of Peter Bunting, and if she never get rid of Bunting, PNP would have a smooth sailing with that leader that were more likable. So the Jamaica Labour Party have to give thanks to Rhoda Crawford for help to mash up the PNP.
JLP supporter from Central Manchester. However, not everyone was pleased with the performance of the governing JLP. A woman from St. Anne lamented that despite being an avid supporter, she is disappointed in how the JLP administration has been running the country. She pointed to the situation in the Bernard Lodge community where several illegal structures were demolished, saying the matter should have been handled differently.
I like when I say one, what day the other day with the people a ball and them something there, and
Which people?
the same people where the house will lose the house and the something them, but by the help of God you know them we get it back, but me did expect better from Labour Right Party, cause them me always a vote for. Me don't really know none of them, but me just feel them cry because it could have been me too, but just for life go. Just one of them there again. Them have to just try and start over back.
JLP supporter from St. Anne.
In other news, the St. Anne police have launched a probe into the death of a delivery truck driver following an incident along the Fatespen roadway yesterday. Dead is 47-year-old Dane Brown of Seaford Drive, Kingston. Reports are that police responded to calls about a single vehicle crash in Fatespen, and officers who responded found the driver slouched over the steering wheel. The driver, later identified as Brown, had what appeared to be gunshot wounds. Brown was transporting food items to the western end of the island when the crash occurred. According to investigators, observations made at the scene suggest that Brown's vehicle crashed into a utility pole after he lost control of it. The police later recovered some of the items that had been looted from the truck. They are urging residents of the community to cooperate with them as they seek to bring closure to the matter. Persons with information that can assist investigations are being urged to contact the Monique Police at 876-973-0451, Crime Stop at 311, the 119 police number, or the nearest police station. The Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, has indicated that the country's economy is still projected to grow in the range of 2.5 to 4.5% in the next fiscal year. BOJ Governor Richard Biles said this would follow the 8.2% outturn recorded for 2021-22. Speaking during the Central Bank's quarterly media briefing, Mr. Biles said Jamaica's economy continues to perform creditably.
The Jamaican economy continues to perform creditably. The unemployment rate at July 2022 is 6.6%, which is lower by 1.9% to the corresponding number for the quarter of last year. In addition, there are signs that the economy has continued to expand for the September 2022 quarter, and the December 22 quarter to date. For fiscal 2023, the bank still projects real GDP growth in a range of 2.5% to 4.5%, following on growth of 8.2% for the financial year just ended March 22. The bank expects that GDP growth will continue to be driven by the services industry, particularly tourism, which has been recovering at a rapid pace. There has also been some buoyancy in the agricultural sector, which is expected to continue as the tourism sector recovers and weather conditions improve.
Bank of Jamaica Governor Richard Biles. State Minister for Finance Marcia Smith has hailed this year's winner of the Civil Servant Awards as true patriots. Speaking at this ceremony Friday, Smith acknowledged the hard work done by the public service members, especially during challenging economic times. She noted that the government continues efforts to ensure that public servants are financially better off.
This year's Civil Servants of the Year Award, celebrated under the theme, The Public Sector Forging Ahead with Determination. The theme is very fitting as we continue to make strong and steady progress in ensuring our public servants are financially better off, and as we continue to recognize your worth and your work. I believe it is one of the greatest accomplishments of any individual to serve one's country with integrity, loyalty, and dedication. It was Mark Twain who once said, "Patriotism is merely religion, love of country, worship of country, devotion to country's flag, and honor and welfare." A true patriot is what I see when I look at the hard work, dedication, and passion with which you have executed your various duties as public servants.
State Minister for Finance, Marsha Smith, she said the awardees serve as an inspiration for others in the public service.